The Quinnipiac basketball teams had completely different outcomes at the MAAC Tournament. One went home early, and one stayed to dance.
And the women's ice hockey team made it to the NCAA Tournament for the first time in program history, while an injury-plagued men's team is heading to Lake Placid in search of an ECAC championship.
We'll discuss it all coming up next on Bobcat Breakdown.
Good evening and welcome to another special episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm Morey Hershgordon.
And I'm Fearon. The basketball and hockey teams had a jam-packed week while the other Quinnipiac students enjoyed their spring break. The highlight of the week for Quinnipiac athletics, the women's basketball team.
A 20-0 conference record was washed away when Trisha Fabry's women's basketball team arrived in Albany for the MAAC Tournament. 3 games in 4 days separated Quinnipiac from its second trip to the NCAA Tournament in 3 years. On Friday afternoon, the Bobcats made mincemeat of the Monmouth Hawks in the quarterfinal round. After a day off, Quinnipiac took the court again on Sunday against 5th-seeded Siena and defeated the scrappy Saints to set up a rematch of last year's MAAC championship game with Marist, who had won the previous 9 MAAC championships. But this year was different. Jasmine Martin, the tournament MVP, shined for 40 minutes, dropping 18 points in the Bobcats' first ever MAAC championship. So, Dylan, your initial thoughts on the tournament?
Great tournament. Going to Albany was a lot of fun. With the crew, Q30 Sports crew. I think it was expected that they were supposed to win, even though Marist had won 9 straight. You played a Monmouth team. You'd gone 20-0 in the regular season. You'd beaten Monmouth by 40 just the past week. You play them again, get to the quarterfinals. You play a Siena team who had knocked off Iona 2 days before, so they're riding high. They had a 4-game winning streak heading into the tournament, so they're riding high. You beat them, and then you go into Marist, and that was a great game, as we called it. Great tournament. I think the second unit struggled in the tournament, and now we have to see, as they move to the dance, if that second unit can step up big.
Yeah, 2 big takeaways for me. The first was the absence of the bench. The Gold Rush has been enormous for the Bobcats this season. The Gold Rush is the second 5 in off the bench for Trisha Fabry's squad, and they really didn't show up the whole tournament. Quinnipiac had to lean on their first 5, but it was Brianna Ramos who stepped up huge, Dylan, in that championship game. Boo Abshire picked up her 4th foul early in the second half. She went to the bench like last year's MAAC championship game. Brianna Ramos this time steps in 9 minutes, 3 of 3 from the floor for a career-high 9 points. And Val Driscoll, although she wasn't great offensively, she averaged 10 boards and over 2 blocks a game. She was an anchor down low.
And also Jasmine Martin, talk about a really average regular season at best, doesn't get put on the all-conference teams first, second, or third, and steps up huge in the tournament MVP, 18 points in the championship game. A 3-year captain really stepping up huge for this team when they needed her the most. Samantha Guastella always coming up huge, 3-pointers left and right. The team has so many weapons, but that second unit has to step up as they head to the NCAA Tournament. And speaking of the NCAA Tournament, the selection show was Monday night on ESPN, and the Bobcats received a 12 seed from the selection committee. Quinnipiac will play 5th-seeded Oklahoma in Stanford, Connecticut. Tip is set for 4 p.m. Saturday, live on ESPN2. Morey, Oklahoma, the Sooners are a Big 12 team. What do you think of that matchup?
Dylan, they're going to travel out to California. So Oklahoma has a little bit of a plane ride. Quinnipiac a little farther of a plane ride. So there's not going to be a home court. Trisha Fabry mentioned that in her post-game press conference after they won the MAAC championship. She said an 11 or 12 seed would be great because it's a neutral site where Quinnipiac has a great chance of winning. Marist in the MAAC defeated these Oklahoma Sooners last year. Yes, 2 totally different squads. Marist lost a lot. They were great last year, and Oklahoma lost a lot. They're a young team this year. But Marist defeated Oklahoma by shooting over 47% from the field, about 40% from 3, 17 to 20 from the line. They did the key things in order to beat the Sooners.
That was Oklahoma last year. Now we're talking Oklahoma this year, a team that finished second in the Big 12 regular season standings, a team that beat then number 5 Baylor, who's now number 3 in the country, and then number 4 Texas a couple months before. This Oklahoma team has 2 top 5 wins. What does Quinnipiac have? St. Joe's, Drexel, you know what I'm saying? Oklahoma's a deep team. They have a lot of tall, big men inside that are going to give Val Driscoll trouble. I don't like the matchup at all. I think they really, if they played, let's say, Princeton or a UNC or GW, someone better. I think Oklahoma's going to take them down pretty easily.
So if they're going to take them down pretty easily, for you, what is Quinnipiac going to have to do on the opposite side to defeat the Sooners?
You're going to have to shoot the lights out. And Val Driscoll's going to have to be huge because Oklahoma has 4 players at 6'3" or taller. And Quinnipiac, yes, they're sort of big with Guastella. You got Driscoll inside. But besides that, it's a pretty small squad. Driscoll's going to have to be huge. This Oklahoma team has averaged 25 wins over the past 10 seasons. Averaged. They've been to the tournament 16 straight years. They've reached 2 Final Fours in the last 10 years. They're always in the Sweet 16. They're always like a 5 or 6 seed every year. I mean, for Quinnipiac to win, you're going to have to shoot the lights out, and you're going to have to rebound the basketball, not allow second chance opportunities, and the second unit has to step up big. And for Oklahoma, you've got 2 really great players in Little and Williams. It's what the other role players are going to have to do. If you can contain the role players, then you can win.
I think the biggest thing from my perspective is you have to whittle the clock down. Quinnipiac, yes, they love to shoot the 3 ball, but they can't take that first or second look. They have to pass the ball around. They're one of the top teams in the country in almost 20 assists per game. So sharing the ball and whittling the clock down. And yeah, you're right, making shots, making a lot of shots. But if the shots go up with 10 seconds on the shot clock and you've wasted 20, 25 seconds and you get 1 or 2 offensive rebounds every 4 minutes, because they break the game down in 5 4-minute segments for each half. If you break the game down into smaller games and you have a couple key offensive rebounds and you take time off the clock and whittle the game down and keep it low scoring, then I think Quinnipiac has a good shot.
Is there a specific player in your eyes that has to step up? Is it a Maria Napolitano or a Boo Abshire who got in foul trouble in the MAAC championship game?
I don't think it's a specific player that has to step up. I think it's that all the players have to play consistent. Nicolai Ostergaard has to have her European moves going. Val Driscoll has to be the anchor like we mentioned inside. Jasmine Martin has to have a step back 3. Boo Abshire has to hit a 3 to keep the defense honest so that she can get her passing going. She leads the nation in assist to turnover ratio. So it's a sprinkle of everyone. It's not one exact person like we've seen all season. They play 10 or 11 players in a game. It's going to have to be a sprinkling of them all.
Quinnipiac can't beat themselves. If you lose to an Oklahoma team that just plays better than you on that day, that's just a better team than you overall, then fine. But you cannot beat yourself. You cannot turn the ball over. You can't allow Oklahoma to get second chance opportunities, and you have to have that second unit going. I mean, we've seen the first unit play 22 minutes a game, and the second unit plays the other 18. Now we might see if the second unit's struggling, the starting 5 plays 32, 33 minutes, as we kind of saw in the championship game. And unless, of course, Abshire gets in foul trouble, Ramos steps in, you have Shayna Earl getting minutes. You cannot beat yourself if you're Quinnipiac.
Well, as Dylan mentioned, that game will take place in Palo Alto, California on Saturday, March 21st at 4 p.m. You can catch the game on the ESPN family of networks. But Dylan, the men's ice hockey team had a pivotal series this weekend at home. Who did they face? The defending national champs. We'll tell you how they fared and much more when we return right here on Bobcat Breakdown.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
Back to his Hollywood. This is my mom. I have to make it sit here and back.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Looking for debate and analysis of your favorite Quinnipiac sports?
Attacking and pressing. I mean,
Right, and it's not and what they're doing isn't working.
But unfortunately, they couldn't finish the Colgate game, so I think definitely those are the keys that the Bobcats need to watch.
Had guys that can take the ball in the latter stages of the second half.
I think those
Even
are
with limited minutes. In the MAAC, they play the run and gun style.
Q30s and QBSN's Bobcat Breakdown brings all that to you and more. Live every Monday night at 8:30, tune in to see analysis of your Bobcats from the week before. every sport from every season. It's all right here on Bobcat Breakdown.
What's the morning after? Mondays at 10, only on Q30.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. The ECAC Quarterfinals were the talk of the town this weekend. The Union Dutchmen rolled into Hamden to upset top-seeded Quinnipiac, and in Game 1, the Dutchmen came out firing. Jumped out to a 2-0 lead and also led 3-1 with just over a minute to play in regulation. And Sam Annis, the 2014 National Freshman of the Year, had other plans. Sophomore put in not one, but 2 goals past Colin Stevens to knot the game at 3 and force overtime. Now fast forward past single and double overtime, Alex Barron steps in and scores the game-winning goal in triple overtime, ending the 12th longest game in Division I men's hockey history. Game 2 was close the whole way through, with Union prevailing 3-2, setting up a decisive Game 3 Sunday afternoon. In the second period, Annis went down with an injury that sidelined him for the rest of the game. But in stepped Soren Janssen. The Mountain View, California product recorded the first 2 goals for Quinnipiac en route to a 3-1 victory, which sets up a semifinal matchup with Harvard in Lake Placid this weekend. Morey, one of the big things with this Quinnipiac team, how they've been continuing to win and get through series like this, is the play of Michael Gartek, who has been absolutely on a tear since February. Is he going to have to keep stepping up for them to beat a Harvard?
He is. I mean, in the playoffs, you look in NHL, college, the team goes how its goalie goes. If its goalie is pitching shutouts right and left, eventually you're going to find the back of the net and you're going to win. Yes, you said, taxing series, 106 minutes, 12th longest game in NCAA history in Game 1. Really battle-tested in Game 2, gave up a tough goal late, but, came back strong. He even mentioned after Game 3, he said, Colin Stevens outplayed me the first 2 games. He had to step up. He knows what this time is all about. He had a little taste of that experience in the NCAA Tournament last year. He's going to ride on that experience this year.
And it's the saying, defense wins championships, and that defense goes with a goaltender. And he's just been on a tear since February. You talk about it's now been 2 months. They wouldn't have won the Clear Cup without him. And he's just been continuing to keep getting better and better in his junior campaign. And now with Annis sideline, who knows how long he's going to be out. It's going to be Gartek again. You're going to keep improving and has to step up again.
So as you mentioned, Sam Annis is out, the leading goal scorer, 40 points for the Bobcats last year. He was the National Freshman of the Year. Who has to step up in place of Annis?
It's not one specific guy. It's the next man up. Everyone on a team has to step up. You can't replace a Sam Annis. It's not like one guy can just replace him and step up instead of him. It's the next guy up. Landon Smith's going to have to step up. Matthew Pekka's going to have to step up. Michael Gartek, the defense. I mean, everyone's going to have to do a little bit more than what they've been doing now to just kind of replace him as the whole of Sam Annis and what he produces game in and game out.
Well, for me, I think it has to be Soren Janssen. You talk about crashing the net hard. Second and third chances, second and third opportunities are crucial in the playoffs. Not taking off that first initial play, not giving up on that play. Janssen worked extremely hard this offseason to improve his body, get a lot stronger, stay lower on the ice. So just crashing around the net and finding some of those pucks down low and tipping them in is going to be crucial.
And don't forget the fact that Janssen's on a tear right now with 2 goals in the series against Union, and he's just going to have to keep stepping up. And it's everyone. It's a team. It's not just a one-man sport. So now, with the series win over Union, this Quinnipiac team takes on Harvard. We've got 2 semifinal matchups in Lake Placid. It's going to be really exciting. We've got Colgate St. Lawrence in one and Harvard QU in the other. What do you like?
I like the Bobcats in Game 1. Bobcats lost to the Harvard Crimson 5-2 at home in December when they were splitting series, and then in late February, right after a tough stretch, they get the win at Harvard 5-2. Now it's neutral ice. I think the Bobcats' experience and senior leadership, starting with Matthew Pekka, the facilitator, will ride this Bobcats team to the ECAC championship game.
For this series, it's based on the NCAA tournament. I mean, this team's trying to get to the dance again for the 3rd straight year. And it's not guaranteed that they're in if they lose to Harvard. I'd give it out about an 80 to 90% chance that they're in if they do lose to Harvard. And Harvard's looking to make the tournament too as an automatic bid in the ECAC. I think the only way Quinnipiac doesn't make it is if New Hampshire somehow wins the America East and Harvard is able to win the ECAC. That's the only way Quinnipiac wouldn't make it. But you're going in thinking you're not locked in as a tournament team. You've got to go and win. I think Quinnipiac's going to get it done. And I don't know, Colgate, St. Lawrence, I think both those teams are really solid. I think Quinnipiac probably falls in the championship game to a team like St. Lawrence. But I think you got to win that game in the semifinals to lock in a tournament bid to go dancing.
Like you said, with the NCAA tournament in mind, my biggest thing was the aggression that the Bobcats have to have. You have to make aggressive plays. If you make aggressive mistakes, you can live with them. But if you're on your toes and you're going after pucks, or Michael Garteg is flying out of the net on a 2-on-1 breakaway, taking away the angle that the opponents have of him, you can really come out big in the playoffs if you're aggressive.
Coaches can handle physical mistakes. It's the mental mistakes that they hate, that they cannot stand. We're going to step aside for a moment, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the women's ice hockey team's performance in the NCAA tournament. Don't go anywhere.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
Back to his Hollywood. This is my mom. I have to make a decision and back.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services, from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
We are your source for entertainment news.
The women's hockey team fell to Harvard in the NCAA quarterfinals this weekend, 5-0. It was the team's first trip to the big dance in program's history, but came out completely flat against the Crimson, allowing 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Goaltender Chelsea Layden was pulled after she allowed a 3rd Harvard goal and was replaced by Sydney Rossman, ending Layden's career. Morey, this Quinnipiac team, they make the tournament for the first time in their program's history. Historic season. They've got 4 seniors. Is Layden the biggest loss to this team going into next year?
Layden is not the biggest loss going into next year. It's got to be Cheyenne Darkangelo. The transfer from Syracuse has made an immense impact on this Quinnipiac Bobcats program. She was crucial last year. Teams focused on Kelly Babstock. She stepped up. This year, the focus was on her. Players like Emma Woods, TT Cianfrano, Nicole Costa really benefited from opponents' game planning on Darkangelo. Sydney Rossman is ready to step in, the 2013 Minnesota State Goaltender of the Year next year in Layden's spot.
When you just said Darkangelo was the focus this year, and all the players you mentioned that had to step up, all those players are returning. I think for these 4 seniors, they all bring the same value in my eyes. I mean, Erica Union-Hansen wasn't that great this year. I think Layden, when she's on, she's unstoppable. But there are just times when there are mental lapses and you think Sydney Rossman could have made that save.
Well, she wasn't unstoppable in the most important games of the
exactly.
year.
They didn't win a single big game all year, let's be honest. So Union-Hansen wasn't that great this year. I think Darkangelo wasn't that great this year in terms of on the ice. I think Layden at times was just the mental lapses. Sydney Rossman could have made a lot of the saves that she let in. And then Morgan Fitzward, I mean, yeah, she's a senior. She can help off the ice. On the ice, there really wasn't much there. I think they all bring the same value. I think they all can be replaced in my eyes. I think this team's going to be even better next year, get to the tournament, and possibly even compete for a Frozen Four.
Quinnipiac finished their season 6-8 in their last 14 games. Crucial losses coming down the stretch at Boston College, close, against Harvard, against Cornell in both the NCAA Tournament and the ECAC Tournament. So Dylan, only 4 seniors on this team.
Yeah.
Does this team have what it takes to get back to the big dance next year?
Oh, absolutely. I think Sydney Rossman is a great goaltender. She, as a senior in high school, she was the best goalie in Minnesota, which is a great hockey state. I think all the forwards that are back. Nicole Costa's back for a 5th year. We've got Emma Woods, TT Cianferrano. They're going to bring in some recruits that we'll talk about later. I think this team is going to be just fine. I think they're going to get to the tournament again. I think they're going to compete and possibly get to a Frozen Four.
I think the defense, like you said, is going to be tremendous. A lot of people and a lot of experts said that the defense was crucial to Layden's success this year, only allowing 4 shots, 7 shots, 10 shots per game. Yeah. So Layden didn't have to stop much. The defense is going to be even better next year. Emma Greco, Roosler, Berry, Taryn Baumgart, Lindsay West. The list goes on. 6 defenders. They're going to be able to roll 3 D-core lines back next year. And in the forwards, you said, yes, they lose Darkangelo, Fritz Ward, and Uden Johansson, but Costa, Cianferrano, Emma Woods, they're all going to be primed to make a big run next year.
Well, let me ask you this. We talked about how 4 seniors are leaving, but this team has some players going in. Talk to me about who this Quinnipiac team has coming in next year as freshmen.
I want to focus on one specific player, and that's Miranda Lance, 5'4" forward. And she led her Ontario Red team to a silver medal in the Canada Winter Games. 33 points in 32 games. Now, that production is not going to transfer over freshman year, I should say right now. I mean, usually it doesn't. But Mance has great vision, and she's a playmaker. That's what this team needs. Emma Woods and TT Cianferrano are both players that need playmakers and need those players to create shots for them. Woods and Cianferrano are not players that can create their own shot, but down the ice, 2-on-1, 3-on-2, they can really put the puck in the back of the net when they get it.
You want to talk about playmakers? I've got Melissa Samaskevich, one of the best players in high school right now. She won a silver medal at the under-18 championships for USA, and for a prep team, she got a silver medal as well at nationals. She's one of the best players in the country. She had offers from Wisconsin, Minnesota, but she's from Sandy Hook. She's right down the road, so she wanted to stay close to home. She's going to Quinnipiac. Rick Celia thinks she can really be one of the best players in the program's history. I think it's got to be Samaskevich as one of the best freshmen to ever come through Quinnipiac. Along with Cianferrano, who we saw last year. You've got 2 of the best high school players in the country the last 2 years.
Rick Celia really bringing in top-notch recruits. And Tom Moore may have packed 4 suits, but only has to don 1. His 6-seeded Bobcats fell to the 11th place Marist Red Foxes in the opening round of the MAAC Tournament. Marist hit 13 3-pointers and led by as many as 17 points in the first half. Zaid Hurst, Dimitri Flores, and Usman Drame did all they could to will the Bobcats to victory, but it was not enough. The Bobcats cut the deficit to just 1 point, but was unable to get over the hump. 80-74 was the loss, and concluded a very mediocre 15-15 season. So, Dylan, final segment of the night. What was it about this team that led them to just 15-15?
I mean, just 15-15 is completely average. I mean, they were the most inconsistent basketball team I had ever seen. You talk about a solid out-of-conference schedule. You beat a team like Albany, who's now in the NCAA Tournament. You beat Yale on the opening night of the season. You compete against LaSalle. You do lose, but you compete against a top A-10 team, right? But you just see they lose to BU on a buzzer beater, things like that. A lot of other teams they played caught breaks. I'll give them that. You didn't have Giovanni McLean. You're transitioning to the MAAC. But just so inconsistent. And every time they go out there, you think they have a chance to win, and they did. And Marist was a trap game in my eyes. They shot the ball incredibly well. They were finally healthy. And we talked about before the game that Siobhan Lewis and Khalid Hart were going to get theirs. It was what the other role players were going to do that were going to decide this game. Was TJ Curry going to get double digits? Was Philip Lawrence going to get double digits? And what happened? They did, and Marist wins by 6. They shot the lights out. It was too much for Quinnipiac to handle in the second half. I mean, just such an inconsistent basketball team that had the ability to make it to the championship game and just came out completely flat.
12 out of the 15 losses coming by 2 possessions or less. That has to be the defining moment in my eyes, Dylan. BU, Fairfield, the list goes on, home or away. The Bobcats just were unable to get the job done. Is it coaching? Is it players' IQ?
Yes, that's exactly it. A lot of it's coaching. I mean, you lose a couple of games by 2 possessions or less, yeah, you don't catch a break. 12 games by 2 possessions or less, there's something there. It's got to be coaching. Tom Moore said, oh, we didn't get the 8-0 runs, the 10-2 runs towards the end of games. You know why? Because you don't draw up the correct plays. You don't put the ball in the right player's hands. You put the ball in Usman Drame's hands against BU and Fairfield. What does he do? He just dribbles up down the court. What happened against Iona? He just dribbled down the court. Evan Kahn just dribbled down the court and passed to Zayed Hurst with a second left. What is he supposed to do? I mean, a lot of it's the IQ as well. Sometimes it's just the players not wanting to play. We've seen sometimes Usman Drame doesn't live up to what he can do because he just doesn't feel like it.
Well, with 6 seniors leaving, who has to step up right away next year in order for this Bobcats team to get back to that 20-win benchmark?
Well, you lose 6 players and arguably the 4 best players in your team. So what do you have to do? I mean, who's going to score the basketball? Now that you lose Hurst, you lose Drame, you lose Conti, and you lose Harris, your top 4 scorers. It's going to have to be James Ford Jr. I mean, the man can shoot the 3 ball. He improved on his driving skills this past season. It's going to have to be him. You're going to see Aaron Hutton do some stuff. It's going to be those 2 guys in my eyes. I mean, it's going to be a very down year for this team, I think, next year.
James Ford Jr. will not be the scorer that the Bobcats will lean on next year. It's going to be Giovanni McLean, the do-it-all point guard, scoring option from the top. James Ford Jr., Dylan, really only benefited his game from the addition of minutes and from other teams really focusing in on Zayed Hurst. He never shot the ball off the dribble, and never once did he take a ball screen and take it to the rack. So James Ford Jr. was only good behind the 3-point line on a catch and a shoot or coming off of a curl.
Well, let me tell you why it can't be Giovanni McLean. One, we've never actually seen him play. First of all, we don't know exactly
what he can do. I've seen him play in practice, and he's pretty good.
Okay, second of all,
he was supposed to go to Oklahoma, by the way. They're in the NCAA Tournament.
Believe me, I know. But we haven't seen him play. Second of all, his knees are shot. How many minutes can this man actually play? We're looking at what, 20 minutes?
He's not going to need to play a lot of minutes.
What do you?
Aaron Hutton, Dimitri Flores, and Kasim Chandler, and Giovanni.
Kasim Chandler. He just said Kasim Chandler.
Yes.
Kasim
Chandler.
They have
an overflow of point guards.
Kasim Chandler won't see the court next year. Giovanni McLean's healthy. You've got McLean, you've got Hutton, you've got Flores. Kasim Chandler is barely even on the team next year. Okay. McLean's
so you're just going to dismiss an 18-point game in his second career game as a freshman on ESPN against LaSalle.
What did he do this year?
He's going to get that confidence back. He got hurt, and he was out for an extended period of time for 6 weeks. Then this year he came back, and Tom Moore was very pleased with the way he broke the press in a 20-point victory over Manhattan at home. And he also played well against Iona, against a smaller Cedric Casimir. He has the pieces.
Kasim Chandler.
All right, well, Tom Moore has 3 recruits locked up for next year already. 2 of them brothers from Connecticut. Actually, they're from Maryland. 1 other from Connecticut. Dylan, who are the Bobcats getting, and who's going to be the most valuable?
The Robinsons, the twins that are brothers, they're from Connecticut, and Abdoulaye Bundu, their other recruit they're bringing in, is from Maryland. The Robinsons, I think it's more of a package deal. Andrew Robinson's the better brother. He averaged 18 points in his junior campaign. This season he did well as well. Aaron, it's really a package deal because Aaron's not really that great of a basketball player, and he won't be able to contribute to this basketball team in the next couple of years. But Andrew will. He's going to come in. He's going to shoot the lights out, I think. He's a great 3-point shooter. And Abdoulaye Bundu, who's only played basketball for about 5 years, averaged 19 points and 8 boards his sophomore year, 24 and 12 his junior year, and this year, what did he do? Just 30 and 14. The man can absolutely dominate inside. He's from Largo, Maryland. I think these 3 can really help the program, but next year is going to be a down year. I think in 2 years, we can really see this team elevate and as Tom Moore said, break through in the MAAC.
Depending on how the guards come back next year, I think Andrew Robinson's going to make an immediate impact. He's got a big body, and the big bodies are useful in a guard-dominated conference like we see day in and day out in the Metro Atlantic. Emi Andujar, Kelvin Almayo, you're talking about big, mature guards. The big body will help Andrew Robinson. He also has great elevation on his jump shot. That's crucial to make a seamless transition from high school basketball to the Division I level.
I agree. I think these 3, they can really make an impact in a couple of years. Next year, we're going to see this team. They were a 6 seed without Giovanni McLean. You bring McLean in. All the other pieces kind of fill in. I think this team's looking at another 6 seed, possibly 7 or even 8, depending on St. Peter's brings back a lot of guys. You see Fairfield's going to keep getting better. Marist, I mean, we're going to see how this team really evolves now in the Giovanni McLean era.
It is a little early, though, to start talking about next season because you never know about transfers and 5th years and much more. But, Dylan, that's all the time we have for tonight. For more information, you can check out our website at www.q30television.com and follow us on Twitter at Q30Sports.
And don't forget to pick up the newest edition of QBSN the magazine, available this week. That's Morey Hershgordon. I'm Dylan Fearon.